Hello, welcome back to Breezyville. This is a Breezy Reviews episode, and we are going to be talking about episode 6 of Little Fires Everywhere. We are over halfway through the season. Oh my gosh. But first off, I want to say War Eagle. I want my Tigers to win today and everything. So let's do this. But anyway, it has hit the fan, guys. I'm telling you. Oh my gosh. And I feel like the best is yet to come. So before I jump in, please hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications. Also, please subscribe, help a girl out, and everything. My goal is to get to at least 100 subscribers. We're at 45 right now, so please help out, guys. Please, please. Okay, but let's talk about this episode now. So, this one might be a bit shorter, but it's because I feel in this episode, it starts off, we get more of an insight to Alina and a young Alina and a young Mia. And a young Alina is played by Anna Sophia Robb, who I think was a great casting choice for a young Alina, honestly. Everything. I feel like, I really do. But yeah. But anyway, the episode starts off with a young Mia and her family having dinner praying before the night before she heads off to an art school in New York. In her room, her Mia is packing when Brian gives her money. And she does not take the money because he's saving up for a car. She wants him to get a car and everything. So that's what she does. Now, I feel like they have a close bond. Like they have that really close brother sister bond that most of us can only strive to have. That would be nice. So she gives him the money back, and instead of taking it, so what he does, he gives her mace because she knows she's gonna need it because it's New York City, y'all. Should I say more? And this scene goes on to Mia exploring the art school, trying to get to her class, and the teacher, who happens to be Pauline Hawthorne, remember that name, guys, remember that name. If you don't, remember the painting from the last episode we discussed with the painting got famous and everything? Yes. That released? Yes. But the teacher starts the class and we see Mia taking photos as she's like in the like the street view and stuff. And Mia's teacher also tells her to stay true to herself, basically. And I feel like Mia is getting a mentor at this point. That's gonna change a little bit later, but we're breaking it down scene by scene. Now, the scene in New York City, the scene is in New York City in 1981, and there is a young Mia who we see playing. See this detective guy again in a nightmare. The only find out he's not a detective. But but that's jumping ahead. So Mia gets off the subway and is showing her artwork, and she's doing as she is doing, and the teacher is impressed. So Pauline and then invites her to her friend's opening, who her friend turns out to be Anita. Does that name sound familiar? Yes, it does. Now, back on the subway, the guy is still there. Mia gets off and is about to mace the guy whenever he comes around the corner. The guy then explains to her that she looks just like his wife and that he tells her that they are looking for a surrogate. Now, this feels weird and fishy to me, honestly, guys. Not gonna lie, if someone like that came up to me and I'm like, yeah, but yeah, I also gotta think this was also back in the 80s. There was so many different laws too regarding surrogacy. So, mhm, but still though. But anyway, Joe gives Mia his card, in case he changes her mind and she thinks about it. Now it's in the art gallery that Mia meets Anita, and it's this scene that Mia gets high for the first time. Looks like for the first time as well, because I feel like Mia comes from like this very religious alt family who's very and everything. So, and they try to teach her right from wrong and all of that. Now, back at the teacher's apartment, I feel like this is taking an interest in grooming, and it's sensationalizing the fact that Pauline is basically grooming Mia, and nobody's talking about that. Look, it was the 80s, but still, grooming is grooming, and it's not okay. It's not acceptable, and everything. But Mia ends up getting a letter saying that they're basically sending their scholarship to budgets due to their budget cuts and everything else. And she is talking to her brother, and he tells her to basically figure it out. Now she doesn't want to go home, and this is where Mia then decides to remember Joe. I just talked about him that to take him up on his offer to be a surrogate for them, and They agree, and she tells him she basically can't do it for under 12 because they originally offered 10. And they agreed to make it work. And the couple is eternally grateful for this, honestly. And yeah, there's no contracts and stuff drawn up, nothing like that to be happened. Keep that in mind. But anyway, I feel like Mia had the best of intentions here. She wanted to stay in art school. And if that meant being a surrogate, she would do that. She was trying to do anything it takes to make her dream come true because she truly felt this is where she belongs. South Carolina? Come on, LSU. How are you losing to South Carolina? Sorry. I'm getting hyped. But anyway, but I think the pregnancy is going, I think there's something in this pregnancy at this point that's really going to influence her and everything. So, let's jump to Shaker Heights in 1983. And this scene jumps to 1983 when a young Elena is asleep in the rental with her husband and their baby. Now, this turns out to be her third baby, when it's Mooney and everything. Now, the babysitter arrives, and we see Bill and Alina getting ready to go back to work. Alina is going back to work for the first time. And like I said, at this time they were living in a rental, and that rental, remember, she was supposed to have it with Jamie and stuff. So this really shows that Alina's life is going how her parents planned for her to go. Everything. She returns trying to get a promotion, but it turns out that promotion has been filled. So Alina goes to the doctor. She's shocked to find out she is pregnant, and she is. And instead of telling her husband, at dinner that night with Linda and Mark, they have a drink. She takes a drink of wine from him. Now, Linda just had a miscarriage, and they haven't told him yet. And so, but Linda also catches on real quick that Alina is pregnant when she gets sick again, and she gets jealous of the fact that her friend is pregnant again. And I don't, but like, Linda rightfully, like, she wants so bad to be a mom, and I can tell. Like, she just really wants to be a mom. Now, Alina arrives home one day from work, and the babysitter ran late. There was no babysitter that showed up. Chick-fil-A, y'all. But her mom talks her out of, and like, she tells her mom that she's pregnant and she doesn't want to keep the baby, and she's thinking about doing an abortion. However, her mom has, you have to think, Elena comes from this wealthy, white, upper class family where it's like her whole life has been planned out. And her mom basically tells her that that's not an option for people like us and everything else. So basically talks her out of it. Now, she goes to tell Bill later that night, and he's so excited. He tells her that four is just going to be like having three. And he wants a girl and reminds her name Isabel. Yes. And I feel like we don't have a next conversation because remember at one point she talks about, I warned you about the name Izzy whenever before we had her. And I don't think a lot of people, and I think something might have changed after Izzy's birth that made her really think that. Izzy is not a name. But anyway, Elena is putting on a smile, pretending she is happy about this because she doesn't want to be pregnant. She wants to be back at work. She wants to be succeeding in her field of journalism, but she's settled. That's the thing at the end of the day. But well, let's jump back to New York City in 1982. Mia and her teacher are working on a piece and they are having a conversation about appropriation. Mia is in a room preparing to be, and then one scene, Mia is preparing to be ins- insinuated, whatever it's called, and the wife helps her after finding out she's a virgin. And I feel like this is what he really should have backed off. Decided maybe we should get someone who's had a child before, because there was a lot of red flags right then and there but they were so desperate, and Mia was so desperate for money that she didn't know what else to do. It's also important to note that I said Mia's a virgin, so she's never used a tampon before and everything else like that. But Mia shows up and is shocked to find Mia pregnant. Brian shows up to go see his sister and everything, and shocked to find out Mia's pregnant. And Brian is so she basically explains everything to him and all that. The teacher is helping her, holds her hands, and I feel like there's a relationship brewing at this point. even if they don't realize it, I really hate this relationship because it's grooming. The fact that Mia was young and impressible, this woman had to be like her like 30s, 40s, something, early 40s, something like that. But she was young. But Brian tries to tell her that she's crazy for this whole situation and everything. Now, he also, whenever he's getting ready to leave, tells her that it's going to be a girl. And he accepts the situation for what it was. He loves his sister. He's not going to. He knows that this is crazy for her. Hmm. Wisconsin, I need you to be Alabama. Sorry. Um, Brian. But anyway, but he also says that there's something going on between Pauline and Mia. And why on earth is he trying to prevent it? Like, does anyone not care this is grooming at its finest right here? That Pauline is basically grooming Mia and everything? But Mia wants to be an artist, and he's willing to do anything for it. Now, in the photo room, Pauline is trying to comfort Mia, and Mia asks what they are. They end up basically, being together at this point. Meanwhile, back in Shaker, Elena's done had Isabel, and she is suffering from PPD. Meanwhile, the water is off because they're doing like a renovation and stuff, so they're trying to get all that done. Elena is freaking out and struggling, and she starts to break dishes. She's like has this big break moment, and everything else, like she's losing it at this point. But when Bill walks in, she hands him the baby, tells him she's going to go get a pacifier, and it ends up standing there for a few minutes. She then has a breakthrough, goes to contact her ex-boyfriend. It's where she meets Jamie in Rochester, and she catches up with him, and they end up and she basically like you can tell she regrets the life she's chose that she chose to settle and everything. Now Jamie's story makes her a bit envy, and I think that's the life Alina wanted. She wanted to be this journalist, but at the same time, she came from a family where everything was laid out for her, and everything. And she also, and Jamie even asked her if she has said yes, would things be differently right now? I feel like it would, honestly. But Alina just couldn't do it. She couldn't. She had to go back and follow the rules the path that her parents and her set out for her that she had to follow. Now, a song comes on and they start dancing, and two end up going back to the hotel room, about to have a fling, but Elena comes to her senses, struggling and all of that. I also want to point out that Anna Sophia Robb does a good job at playing a young Elena. Now, Elena's settled, and I think she regrets it, honestly. She's trying to convince her that she is happy. And I think Elena is confused right now as well, because she's like, her life isn't what she wanted it to be. She drives back to Shaker, gets back to her place, Linda and Bill away for her, and she's composed and she's okay, and basically tells them that she needed him in. And she's a mom of four, so yeah. Now, back in New York, Mia receives a phone call that her brother, Warren, is dead. She then arrives home to find out, shocked. Her parents are shocked to find out she is pregnant. Before the funeral, her mom asked her not to come. Her mom also, oh, real quick, back in Shaker. Bill sees the Jamie's number. I think that he might have known who Jamie was somewhat, but he didn't really want to push it. I don't know. We didn't really get into that a lot, but I hopefully we go into that in episode 7, honestly. But anyway, before the funeral, Mia's mom comes into her room and asks her not to come to the funeral because she wants the day to be all about Warren. And Mia ends up leaving and taking Warren's car. And this is where she ends up going. She ends up going across the country. She leaves a note for her parents and starts driving. She gets to what looks like California and gives birth to Pearl. She ends up giving Pearl her brother's name for their surname. And Mia calls Pauline, and Anita answers and tells her that basically Pauline died of ovarian cancer and and explains that she saved a piece, has her stuff, and she saved a piece for whenever she needs to sell it and stuff because she knows that Mia has kept a baby and everything, and Pauline figures she would have. So Mia basically tells her that I'll let you. I don't know where we're going, but I'll let you know when we get there. Basically, I also feel like a lot go. Mia and Alina, they're a lot more alike than we realize. Like even though they both came from a good family background, so we know that she. So and they both chose different paths in life, but they also chose some of the same paths, like with motherhood and stuff like that. So Mia was upset over a photo and having this makes sense now because you remember I talked about how Mia was upset about having to sell this one photo to pay for a lawyer and everything. Hmm. And I and that picture of the woman makes so much sense now. But meanwhile, I have to point out too that Anita could have turned Mia in, like she could have, but she didn't. And this is and it basically ends the episode as Pearl and Mia are driving as Pearl gets older, and which makes them arrive in Shaker Heights. Which makes it kind of, I think, full circle. Like, it's gonna be a moment, like, it makes that part full circle. Like, it makes so much sense and everything else. But that is it for this episode. I will see y'all next time. Y'all have a great day and War Eagle.